Welcome to the Colorado Homes and Living YouTube channel. I'm Jill Jackson,
And I'm Kelly Mace.
and we do these videos on a weekly basis in hopes that you reach out to us, whether you're looking to buy in 10 days, 10 weeks, or 10 months. It is never too soon to contact us. Feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We also have our phone number and website linked below. On today's channel, we are going to be discussing home buyer showing tips.
So, tip number one is going to be wear slip on shoes. A lot of sellers do require that you take off your shoes. Specifically in the winter, it's pretty rough when there is rain or snow outside. A lot of the times, we do provide like shoe booties. Those are at the listing, or your realtor might have them. But some people do find that it's just easier to take on and off your shoes, and you just don't want to be lacing them up on and off when you have multiple homes to show.
The second tip is think about bringing a tape measure. A lot of times we look at these properties and some are furnished and some are vacant. You might love everything about the home, but once you start measuring things out, you could run into a little bit of a problem where you're like, my couch isn't going to fit in here, or my bed set's not going to fit in here. Now, that's not to say you can't get new furniture, but a lot of people do like to bring their furniture with them and want to find a place that already accommodates their furniture. So just keep in mind something to think about. Having a tape measure on hand could definitely save you a little bit of headache.
And sometimes the listing does tell us if the listing agent measured those homes. We do have room dimensions, but sometimes you just really need that tape measure to measure specific things. Next up, we have do not rely on photos. Sometimes the photos that you see online do not represent the home the best. I always say that sometimes the homes with the worst pictures are actually ones that you really like, and some homes with the best pictures, you're really disappointed when you get there.
Another tip is to check your cell service while you're at the house. You would be surprised how many communities the cell service is spotty. So definitely make sure your phone is working because it's 2026 and all of us don't go anywhere without our phones. But just make sure you have your phone on hand. See if you've got cell service because last thing we're going to do is buy a house and then having a bunch of phone issues.
Next up, we have look past some of the cosmetic issues, since those can typically be changed, but you want to be focusing on the layout of the home, the natural sunlight, as well as the general flow of the home.
Yes, because you can change a paint color, you can switch out hardware, you can always change out carpet as well. But you can't change the layout unless you're planning to completely renovate the home. So I would probably focus a little bit more on the stuff that isn't as easy to fix versus, you don't like the house because the kitchen's painted red or something like that. So the next tip would be to make sure you open closets and cabinet doors. Obviously, you want to make sure there is plenty of closet space. And then cabinets, you would be surprised how deep or shallow cabinets can be, and just making sure that there is enough room to accommodate all of your items. So
And sometimes buyers feel a little bit unsure if they can open cabinets and closets. It does seem a little bit intrusive, but if you're looking to buy the home, you have every right to do so. So, next up, you want to pay attention to noise. Sometimes you get lost in the pretty things that you're looking at and you don't pay attention to some outside or inside noise. For example, if you hear any street noise, if you live close to the light rail, even just how loud the HVAC system is, some of those things can really be a nuisance and can be overlooked. And you should also be paying attention to the time of day that you're there. So if you are on a busy road, you're not there at rush hour, you might want to go back there when the noise is at its peak.
another tip to consider is check the amount of sun exposure and which direction the house faces. Obviously, we live in Colorado and we see all types of weather. So if you are south facing, you are going to see a lot of sunlight on your driveway. I am south facing on my house, and I think I've shoveled my driveway like twice in 8 years because the sun melts it. But if you're north facing, it can stick around for quite a long time. So if that's something that is of a concern to you, that's definitely something you want to consider as well when you're looking at the houses.
And next up, we have taking photos and kind of remembering what homes you like, what homes you don't. It's always a good idea to take notes. You can take pictures of the houses as you walk through them. But sometimes when you're looking at 4, 5, 6 houses at a time, they tend to blur together. So I always say it's good to rank them as you go along and kind of forget about any house that was previous that had a lower ranking. And then just kind of keep notes about what you liked, what you didn't like.
And then finally, the last tip, and probably one of the most important ones, is don't bring a whole crew with you. Everybody's going to have so many opinions, giving you their advice, their 2 cents. And, I would bring you, your spouse, or your roommate, or, if it's your parents are helping you with it, or, whatever that looks like. But I wouldn't bring your, no, your sister, your cousin, your best friend. Most people have a lot of opinions. This is a pretty big purchase for you and something you should be super excited about. And that's not to say you can't bring anybody and get opinions or whatnot, but I think the more people that do come, it can get convoluted. It's very busy, and it also creates a lot of distractions too. When you should be focusing on the house and like what you like and don't like it. When there's a lot of people there, it's like you've got to have conversations and this and that, and it just can be a little bit overwhelming for you and your realtor.
Yeah, and if you want, you can always bring some additional opinions at an inspection. But when you're doing that initial walkthrough and initial showing, you just want to keep it to the people that are going to be living in the home. So you are not being talked in or talked out of things that you like or don't like.
So, with that being said, that about wraps up for today. Thanks again for tuning in with us on Colorado Homes and Living YouTube channel. I'm Jill Jackson.
And I'm Kelly Mates.
And if you found this content helpful, please subscribe and like our YouTube channel. And you can find our website and phone number linked below. And until next time, see ya.